Oh man, I'll tell you the truth. I am really enjoying talking about what I've been sharing with you for the last couple of weeks. I know that the messages have not been what we call evangelistic messages, but most of y'all have heard that all your life anyhow. Right now, brothers and sisters, you need to know what's going on in your world that you live in. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about disaster by design. I think you heard that on the radio last Sunday, if you weren't here. Last week, we talked about the emergency powers of the President of the United States, which aired this morning on the radio. Today, I want to continue in the same vein so that we as Africans can catch up to what's going on in our society. I want us to come up to speed to what's going on around us. So today I want to tell y'all really what they have been holding back from us and totally misdirected our minds into thinking something other than what really is. Today I want to talk about this subject. Who really owns and runs America? Who really owns this country? Who really runs this country? I know a lot of people think that the president does. A lot of people think that Congress does. A lot of people think that the House and Senate, which comprises Congress, I know they think that these lawmakers run the country. Brothers and sisters, I got news for you today. These people are nothing but pawns in what is called an international game of chess. Now, those of you, let me see the hands of those of you who know how to play chess. Let me see your hand. All right, well then y'all really grab right quick what I'm talking about. Those who don't know how to play chess, let me tell you, chess is a game of strategy. And in order to hope to win, you have to have some sense of strategic idea and planning. Let's talk first of all about the forms of government. Now I'm telling y'all right now, before we go any further in the message, I'm going to be doing some educating here today, okay? How many of y'all have ever heard the word Democratic before? All right. How many of y'all, by the way, in here are Democrats? Let me see your hand. All right, I see some hands. How many of you ever heard the word Republican before? How many of you are Republicans? Let me see your hand. All right, mostly Democrats. Isn't it deep that most black folk are Democrats? And it's really deep because I don't think any of us really know why. But I'm going to help you understand today what that's really about. There are various forms of government, brothers and sisters. But basically, they come into two categories. Everybody say, rule by God, and the other is rule by man. Now, the first form of government, as we just said, ruled by God, is called a theocracy. Coming from the word theos, theocratic, meaning it is a government by immediate divine guidance. Under the category of rule by man, there are various forms, and I'm going to try to touch on those today. The first form of government, theocracy, ruled by God, whether we want to admit it or not, we virtually have no control, brothers and sisters, over the theocratic form of government. This is God's decision. God is the one who determines this type of government depending on her plans. Y'all heard what I said, right? I said her plans. See, ancient Africans understood that the creative force was considered the mother goddess creative force of the universe. This his idea is something that we learn from the patriarchal concept and chauvinistic mind of the European man. But since we're still in there, I'm trying to kind of help us develop into an awareness of, so we say his, her, or her a lot. Being that the theocratic form of government is determined by God, it really doesn't make much sense for me to even discuss.
זוהי זכותו הטבעית של העם היהודי להיות ככל עם ועם עומד ברשות עצמו במדינתו הריבונית, אשר יפתח לרווחה את שערי המולדת לכל יהודי ותעניק לעם היהודי מעמד של אומה שוות זכויות בתוך העמים. תוקף זכותנו הטבעית וההיסטורית ועל יסוד החלטת עשרת האומות המאוחדות אנו מכריזים בזאת על הקמת מדינה יהודית בארץ ישראל, היא מדינת ישראל. מתוך ביטחון בצור ישראל הננו חותמים בחתימת ידינו לעדות על הכרזה זו.
Apartheid in South Africa crumbled after Nelson Mandela walked to freedom, but black people suffered decades of government-backed injustice before it did. Apartheid really began in 1948, but separating black Africans from the white minority had long been a policy aim. Laws made white people officially superior, and the large black majority faced discrimination in every aspect of their lives. Living, doing business, or owning land in white areas was banned. There were separate public facilities, transport, and schools. Interracial marriage was banned. Many had no right to citizenship and were regarded as aliens in major cities. Instead, they were made citizens of Bantustans, homelands scattered throughout South Africa. But resistance grew. In 1960, a huge peaceful protest against past laws ended in a massacre at Sharpeville. 69 people were killed. The deaths galvanized opposition, radicalizing liberation movements like the ANC. There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence. Open conflict erupted in the 1980s, with anti-apartheid activists frequently shot at, beaten, or arrested. Mass protests were firmly put down. But little by little, the apartheid establishment crumbled. After gradual reform, Nelson Mandela, imprisoned since not long after Sharpeville, was set free in 1990. 4 years later, he was elected as South Africa's first black president. Apartheid had ended.
26th of October, 1994. Israel-Jordan Peace Treaty. On the 26th of October, 1994, Israel and Jordan signed a peace treaty to end 46 years of war. The treaty was signed by Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin of Israel and Prime Minister Abdel Salam Marjoli of Jordan, and the ceremony was attended by President Clinton.
Why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
What's the answer?
The answer is the liar knows what lie he told. You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still going to be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
It was the first time the majority of the country had ever voted. On May 10, 1994, Nelson Mandela was sworn in as South Africa's first black president. The ceremony was held at the Union Buildings in Pretoria, once the seat of white-only rule. World leaders stood in attendance. Fighter jets flew overhead in the colors of the new flag. Mandela addressed the nation. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Apartheid was over, but the legacy remained in land, wealth, trauma, and inequality.
That form of government because it's not a viable alternative. There are various forms, however, of man-made government. Some of the more common types are, everybody repeat after me, where no one rules. That's the first. The proper word for that is anarchy. When nobody rules, that's called an anarchy. In an anarchy, you have what is called lawless confusion, disorder, chaos, and turmoil. That's in an anarchy. Then you have another type of government where one man rules. That's called a dictatorship or a monarchy. In that you are liable to see what's called unlimited rule. You're liable to see something called tyranny. You're liable to see what might be referred to as a totalitarian government, wherein coercion is used to rule the people. The other type of government is where a few people rule. The proper word for that is oligarchy. Oligarchy. In an oligarchy, you have what's called a small elite group of people that rules the masses. The nobility group exercising control, and usually it's for corrupt and selfish reasons. Then you have a type of government called where the majority rules. That's called a democracy. Y'all have heard of that before, right? Yes. For you Democrats. Yes. Okay? A democracy. That consists of what is called constitutionally elected representatives. A democracy is a form of government that is traditionally controlled at the top by a small ruling group of people, or oligarchy. The people in a democracy are conditioned to believe, follow what I'm saying to you people, the people in a democracy are conditioned to believe that they are indeed the decision-making power. Yes. Did you hear that? Yes. But in truth and in reality, the people are not the decision-making power. It's that small group of people at the top that makes all of the decisions for the masses. In a democracy, they lie to you and tell you go vote. And the masses go vote thinking that in what's going on. When in reality, after you vote, it's still that small oligarchy at the top that makes the decision. So the only true form of government throughout history has been the oligarchy, or that rule by a minority for the majority. In the 1928 United States Army Training Manual, what year did I say? 1928. Yes. The 1928 United States Army Training Manual defines a democracy as, and I quote, a government of the masses. Authority derived through mass meeting or any form of direct expression. Sometimes Follow this good now. Sometimes this definition results in what is called a mobocracy. A mobocracy. M-O-B-O-C-R-A-C-Y. You'll understand what it is. And that is actually a word. Look it up in the dictionary. A mobocracy.